I see. I'm quite certain that Euron's not the culprit either. I swear, I'm getting real sick of Nameless's crap. Still, it sounds like you managed to get some useful information. As Lick said, Nameless likes to play mind games with his victims. We should assume this man's a very intelligent individual. Let's not forget what happened when Captain Barbaros was ambushed. Nameless managed to cut him without being at close range, but that makes sense if he used a steel wire trap instead of a blade. Yeah, that's true. Based on his use of these traps, we could surmise that he has a connection to the Roman military. We also need to know whether this person is an outsider or a member of the village. I don't know anyone else here who's part of the Roman military. Then we should consider the possibility that this is the work of an outsider. Oh, you don't think it's a castaway? Either way, we don't want anyone else to become a victim. Say, Aloxia, how's your cutting heal? Cut healing words. It's fine. Thanks to Sahad, the cut wasn't that deep. I was planning to ask Dr. Kiergaard to examine it later. Dr. Kiergaard's a testament to his profession. The wounds I sustained yesterday have been healing well, thanks to him. Wait a minute, I just remembered something funny the doctor said. He said he'd been in some exotic country recently. Oh, which country? Oh, El Tago, right? One that Alo's been itching to visit. What was the name of it again? Yeah, El Tago. Garmin, that's Loxia. El Tago was the country. Yeah, he mentioned having visited the kingdom of El Tago not long ago. I don't really get how that's strange. Wait, say that again? Dr. Kiergaard said that he visited El Tago not long ago. Is that unusual or something? I don't really get what that really means, but they're probably about to tell me. Damn fool! El Tago's at war with Roman Empire. Oh, okay. Good to know. You can't just come and go from there as you please. He's right. Even Adol and I haven't been able to set foot on El Tago. Only a select few can freely enter El Tago. You'd have to be a government official or a soldier in the Roman military. Are you sure about that? Yeah, chat, I know that. I don't think anyone else revealed that they're Roman. Like, I'm aware. I'm just, like, double, like, checking, but, like, it doesn't ring a bell. No one really revealed, like, where they're from, but I definitely don't remember hearing ramen, like, ever. Because if someone else, like, you know, it would kind of be, like, a really good hint to go on and to make finding the killer a lot easier if there was another ramen. But apparently this El Tago thing is, like, I think I know what this means. Are you sure about that? Dr. Kiergaard isn't that important, and he's not a soldier either. He's just a doctor. But there are such thing as aliases. A doctor in the military? Maybe he's a field medic? Maybe. This is starting to make too much sense. But Dr. Kiergaard's such a kind man. He couldn't possibly be. It's like 80% Kiergaard now. Looks like the doc's away, especially with that El Tago business. He was here earlier when we were gathering information. If he's not here, that certainly makes what I'm about to do easier. Down there, maybe? What are you? Bingo. It's Kiergaard. That's just like, hey dude, in case you couldn't figure it out, that's Kiergaard. It's the exact same steel wire used in the trap that nearly decapitated Euloxia. Although I guess Kiergaard could technically be... Nah, it's probably Kiergaard. I was gonna say at first with the El Tago thing, he could be either the one or an accomplice, but nah, it's definitely Kiergaard if the steel wire is there. With this evidence, I have no doubt that he's the culprit behind this. He's definitely a culprit. Captain, this is rather unfortunate. Who did you suspect the most before Kiergaard becoming the main suspect? I'm gonna be honest with you. when I first, okay, I'm gonna talk about the steps, like going into the twist. So right when there was a killer, part of me was like, Carlin's a scumbag, but Carlin never struck me as a killer, so I wouldn't suspect Carlin. Part of me suspected that Hummel was like an accomplice or like working with the killer when he just vanished out of nowhere. Like, I wasn't gonna say Hummel was the maybe Hummel could be the killer, but he was with us when Para warned us, so part of me was gonna say Hummel at first, like at least be like, maybe not the main killer, but Hummel at least working with the killer right when it happened. And then part of me suspected Euron up until he revealed his methods. I was a little sus of Euron just a bit until he came when Loxia got the wiring and revealed his method. I was like, yeah, it can't be Euron if he's out here telling us things. And then, like, this Altago thing, like, I guess Kiergaard, it's just like, oh, it's Kiergaard, so. So I guess I went from Hummel to Euron a little bit to just finding out it's Kiergaard. The thing is, there's not much other people to suspect. Like, if it was like Dinah or Allison, that'd be like incredibly left field. I mean, Kiergaard kind of feels out of left field here. But, you know, I guess, again, when he talked about Altago, I wouldn't have, like, when we were talking to Kiergaard, right? Why would I question Altago? Talking about Altago doesn't really strike, like, as different. Maybe it's in another, I don't think it's in, like, mentioned in another Ys game. But assuming it's not, it doesn't strike as, like, anything unusual, you know? Until this conversation. At all, apprehend Dr. Kiergaard before he claims another victim. Sorry to make you do this. I'm coming with you. Adol, the doctor's probably still in the village somewhere. Please be careful. We will. Let's go. But yeah, I thought it could have been Hummel. Maybe not Hummel himself. Either it could have been Hummel or he was just working with the killer. Point is, I thought Hummel was part of it. But that's clearly not the case. And then I kind of suspected Euron just a little bit when he was like, you know, acting a little sus and stuff, and like maybe I thought it was someone from Rom, but then like, you know, now it's just like after that I was just like, oh, found out it's Kiergaard, it's Kiergaard.
Something the matter? Why so serious? Has someone else been hurt?
Nice weather we're having today, Dr. Kiergaard. Thank God for that, huh? Now, I don't have to try to apprehend you in the rain.
I didn't suspect Hummel since he's a playable character. That's fair. Two rebuttals to that. Hummel, for all I know, Hummel could have been like a temporary character, because like, you know, he could be, or he could still be the killer, but also maybe they like had some kind of... But, the main thing is, what I think they could have done if Hummel was the killer, it would have been interesting. They could have had Hummel be the killer. By the way, I don't really, like, I don't think this is, like, a bad twist. I think this is, like, fine. It's not, like, super, like, oh, my word, it's amazing. But, like, you know, it's, like, not awful. It makes sense. I don't think Kiergaard is, like, out of left... I mean, maybe a little, but I don't think Kiergaard's, like, oh, like, incredibly left field. I definitely think it, like, it ties in, so I don't think it's, like, a terrible twist. But, I think if they went the route with Hummel, right? They could have done, like, oh, Hummel maybe being the killer. If they did want to go that route, they could have had a moment of, like, oh, Hummel, like, maybe trying to redeem himself and, like, kind of regretting what he did and trying to make his way back to the party. And, like, even though he can't exactly, like, oh, forget all the people, like, the people he killed. Like, and they could have made him redeemable and maybe make him playable again, or just have him be a temporary character. So, I see what you're saying about, like, oh, he's a playable character, he can't be the killer. But there are two things they can do. They can either just make him temporary and he never joins again, and maybe he'll turn good later, or they can just try to have an arc of Hummel trying to redeem himself and, like, you know, feeling like, trying to, like, get the party to trust him again, basically. Kind of like Alvin from Tales of Xillia, because Alvin is a villain, or kind of a villain. He's working with Exodus, because Exodus is, like, blackmailing him and kind of, like, making him do things just to go back to Olympias. So, with Alvin, they had a lot of moments of like, oh, like the party didn't trust him. Alvin had to redeem himself, and Alvin just wanted to go home. They had a lot of that in the party. Alvin was a playable character in and out. So they could have done something similar to Hummel, you know?
Oh dear. Officer, you're on. You never got the chance to rendezvous with your partner on the ship, did you?
I knew it. You're the bastard who killed him, Kiergaard. Or should I say, the Nameless Ripper.
I'm gonna read this comment really quick. I knew beforehand, but there were a couple clues here and there. The main thing is Licht is also being a doctor in training, how he described the motives. Licht being a doctor? Okay, haha, like, Kiergaard's now bad, so he's not gonna be in the village, and, like, Licht is a doctor, but, like, I don't know. That's not a bad way of thinking of it, but, like, that's not really, like, a story. That's not really a clue as to why Kiergaard did it. That's a gameplay. That's kind of like in Cold Steel, where, like, I think someone was trying to argue with me about Crow spoilers for Cold Steel 1, and actually no, I probably shouldn't say it, but in Cold Steel 1, someone was trying to argue, oh, this character's moves are similar to the antagonist's moves, so they're this. I'm not gonna go too in depth in case you haven't played Cold Steel 1 and 2, because, you know, I think Genius said he was like started Cold Steel 1, so I just remembered, oh, Genius is in chat, I'm not gonna spoil it. But Cold Steel 1 has a twist, and they were trying to convince me, like, oh, the gameplay reasons are there. I don't think gameplay reasons are exactly what I'm looking for. It's neat to have those gameplay reasons, but the story needs to do a good job of, or a decent job. The story needs to do its job and explain, oh, how the killer is a killer, you know? If the gameplay reasons are the only thing that's tying in, like, why this person's a killer, that doesn't really count. That's a nice little Easter egg. But I feel like the story itself should do, like, again, I don't think this is terrible. This is fine. Kiergaard's clearly going to be, like, a throwaway villain. I think Kiergaard's going to be, like, finished now, and then, like, maybe we'll not deal with him ever again, probably. I don't think Kiergaard's going to be, like, the main antagonist. Kiergaard's clearly just here to start a conflict for the beginning of the game, and I think it's fine, honestly. So, you know. I think it's fair what you're thinking of, Raptor, of like, oh, Licht's a doctor, so he would take Kiergaard's place, but, like, you know, that doesn't really go with the story of, like, oh, why Kiergaard is this. But anyway, I'm done talking about that.
So it was you, Doctor. But why?
Bravo! Simply beautiful. When this began, you castaways were perfect strangers to one another. But look at you now. Look how your bond and trust has flourished. All for the sake of survival.
Doesn't count for you, at least? What do you... No, I said it counted, but it's not gonna fly. It counts, but, like, the game should have... It can have the gameplay reason, that's fine. It should also have the story exposition of why it is. If a game just has the only hints for you to figure things out are gameplay-wise, that's fine, it counts, but it should also have the story. Now you're putting words in my mouth. It needs the story and the gameplay hints of why, basically. The gameplay counts. The gameplay hints count, but it needs the story hints. It makes the story flow better.
There is no better way to describe it.
The hell are you talking about?
Consider, if you will, an opposing perspective. Had we not washed ashore, had I not made myself a threat, that beauty would have died in the womb.
That's absurd.
Don't listen to this lunatic. He's a serial killer.
Come quietly, Dr. Kiergaard. This is a deserted island. There is nowhere for you to run.
He just moved like the wind.
Such as I to exist? Your unjust treatment is the real cruelty!
Goodbye. Have fun getting eaten by a primordial. Damn, he's getting away. Adol, pursue him at once. Oh, hey, Pero. Pero, follow Dr. Kiergaard and report his whereabouts to Adol. Roger, I'll tell you where Kiergaard is. Good boy, we're counting on you. Pero will guide you along Dr. Kiergaard's escape path, Adol. Please listen to him accordingly. I see. Not bad, Captain Barbaros. Once Dogi and I take care of things, we'll be right behind you. What about your wounds? This is far more important. If we lose sight of Kiergaard, he'll pose an even greater threat to us. I want Dogi and the others to guard the village, the rest of us will pursue him. Understood, but please don't push yourself. This is Nameless we're dealing with, Adol. Be on your guard at all times. I'm on it. He did train under Sharon, that's right. Back when Sharon was part of, Ouroboros. Cool, that was a lot. By the way, I don't want people to think I think the twist is bad. It's not bad. It's like, you know, it's the beginning of the game. I can already tell that Kiergaard's not going to be, like, the main villain. This is clearly just, like, here to cause conflict. And I think they did it, like, as well as it could be done, you know? But we'll see when I actually confront Kiergaard what he says about his motives or anything to really judge it. Kiergaard East, Kiergaard East. Sounds like he's heading east. Let's hurry, Adol. Also, I want to go back to what I was saying about the gameplay stuff. I was not saying that the gameplay hints are illogical, because they are logical, but you need the story hints and the gameplay. Or, you don't need the gameplay hints, but if you have them, that's nice. It's nice to have the gameplay hints. Again, back to Cold Steel, someone was trying to convince me that the gameplay hints in Cold Steel were like how you find out the twist, and I was like, if the gameplay hints are the only thing it has going for it, then it's not a good twist in my opinion. It just doesn't flow with the story well. But there are actually some story hints to the Cold Steel 1 twist, so it's like not as bad, but never did I say that the gameplay hints don't matter. I just don't think they're necessary, but if you have them, that's great. Just to like,
Brace yourself, Adol.
just to like, you know, increase the tension of the twist, you know? But the story hints are most important in my world. That's what you really need.
Finally caught up.
Where's that nameless son of a bitch?
We haven't found him yet. I believe Pero is still looking for him.
Looks like he came back.
Found girl! Found girl!
A girl?
What's he talking about? Huh? Look.
Oh my word, it's a child!
She's not moving. Could she be a castaway? She seems rather young.
What a time to find a castaway while pursuing Kiergaard.
We gotta act fast or she'll be beast chow.
We can't afford to lose any more survivors.
Captain!
My leg! This must be one of Nameless's traps. Please be on your guard.
You think he's nearby?
Knew I made the right choice capturing that lost little urchin.
He used that kid as bait.
Bandit cur. How dare he?
We gotta treat the captain's wound.
I wouldn't waste your time. I'm all but certain his femoral artery has been sliced clean through. Even if you treat his wound right away, his odds of survival are grim at best.
No.
Adult, please. Dr. Kiergaard. No. Nameless. Capture him. Captain?
Drowsiness is a well-known symptom of exsanguination. That makes 2 victims now. If you bother to count, Sir Carlin, of course. And now I shall take my leave.
Get back here!
Ooh, that's incredibly low. Using a child to bait us like that. Appears to be unconscious. Unconscious words. Oh, we're gonna fight him where we fight Avala Drago. That's neat. I'm assuming because this is like a dead end.